Okay, I decided to do a little bit more here. I decided kind of against what I was doing with the background. So if I take it back out, because I copied the layer add underneath, do you like that better? But he's kind of too off center. Just think this is just getting way too busy. Too much going on. I want something clean. Do a character portrait. Doesn't really stuff, I don't think. It's a good idea. It's just I think if I had drawn it that way from the start, I could have implemented it better. Um, Especially in sections like this here. Just to and what's going over and what's going under. I think I just could have done a better job if I had done that from the start. So to change this back to kind of the way I had it, but I want to move him over. What I did was, the first thing I did is I cut him out onto a separate layer and I put him a little bit more center, and then I just kind of painted in the areas here that extend it, and I made a new background that was similar to the one I had. So we went from this now to this. A little darker background, but that's okay. And I think I'm just gonna start coloring. It was kind of the main thing that I wanted to do with this anyways. So I am gonna keep those. I'm gonna make a copy of both of those. And then I am gonna merge one. Turn off. Or yeah, and then I can always just use those to select to do selections if I need to. And I will copy that one again. And this time I am gonna, oh, if I do the one thing that this program, Clip Studio, doesn't do quite as nicely as Photoshop is if I start doing some hues here, it's not going to apply to everything. For some reason, it just it does kind of its own thing, and it does this really funky stuff, which actually has kind of a neat look to itself if you wanted to go with something completely wild and out there. So instead, what I'm going to have to do, I don't know if I can just add color. A different way. I wonder if I try color balance here, if that will actually add color. Okay, so that's all I really need to do. So I think I want something warmer. Push it more towards the magenta tone with a little bit more red in it. Now this is kind of going off like the Santos what he was demonstrating on the live stream with David Finch. Just gonna go in here. Those parts that I'm gonna want cooler. Actually, I don't know if I want the skin tone. Yeah, I'll do it a little bit. I do want his skin tone to read a little bit cooler. Just because he is looking very almost undead like in a lot of these Dave's original pictures there. I'm just gonna do that. Basically, I'm just putting a mask on this layer and it's gonna bring me up a little bit of what's below it. So I have the regular gray one below it, and this just making that color go up a little bit. Little stuff like that I gotta fix. We'll fix that in kind of finishing steps, I think. Now the swords definitely need to be pretty cool in tone as well. Kind of out there. I can always, I decided he was using an eraser tool to do this. I'm using a mask. Just because I'm not as confident with it. So this way I can go and make changes if I need to. And not be destructive to that layer. Now when I cut it out, I am getting a little bit of like aliasing lines looking things around it. So little stuff like that. In the finishing steps, any place that's a real issue, I'll have to go in and kind of fix. But it's crazy how green this looks now after seeing it kind of more the way it was originally. Down. Kind of the highlights here to have that. Just doing a little bit on this S crest too. Because that's going to be like orangey and this green should work. Greeny tone we're getting kind of coming through should work. Alright. So this is going to be more like a purple and this is more like a blue. Most of him is purple actually. Alright, so I'm going to make another layer here. And since this is kind of a purple already, we're just going to add a little bit of blue to it on a multiply layer. So since I'm doing that on a multiply layer, I'm going to keep the opacity of it pretty light. That's a little too blue. Come on. Saving in the background. Not even lighter. Here that's set to multiply. It's a little too blue then. So I'm going to push that more towards the tones that it is in the picture or in his pictures. I should probably pull up here. I'm kind of too grapish right now. Add some, let's see what that does. That's closer, probably. What? Or more of a pink. Alright, zoom in here so I can actually work without. Work a little cleaner. I'm using a soft brush here. I don't know. I think he was using a soft brush in his tutorial there. Sticking with that. What I am going to do, I am going to do a selection layer there, just so I don't have to. That's why I kept that layer there on another. I kept that layer as a separate layer as well, just so I can do stuff like that. And I don't have to be as precious with that stuff. Bigger. Hold. I'm missing a little bit of the blue, I feel. Add a little bit of it in there. If I can't get thing kind of between. To this. Still up. It's kind of interesting. Deselect that. Yeah. We'll go with that for now. Another thing you could probably do, see if that works, by probably use that to cut out the or use a mask to kind of bring out that kind of base tone we got down below. Bring out some of those highlights. All right. And we'll keep going here, doing the same thing. It's very desaturated right now, but I'm hoping once I get more of the colors in there, then I can. Plus, I think I can probably up the saturation of everything in the end. Well, not the best at selections with that tool. Oh, and it just didn't select it at all. That's fun. I much prefer using like pen tool in Photoshop. If there's something like that in here, I don't know what it is. And it just didn't work again. Why is my selection not selecting? Weird. Because it's on shrink selection. Oh. Some people are really good at doing lasso. Not so. Oh. Undo that. I'm not on the mask, but towards blue and just little bit more. Like that. That's what I was afraid of. What I will do is use my finger to kind of. Oh, it didn't work the way I wanted it to. I thought I could just kind of push it. Kind of worked. It did. That's why I was kind of unsure why he was using the wouldn't use kind of like a sharp. Well, these are all the issues that I find when you're coloring something from a grayscale image. Just don't work for me. We'll keep going. Try it out. Give it a fair shake for once. Often I go, I don't like it. Changes. At this point, it would be pretty hard to go back. So, eraser. Back some highlight and not too much. Just gonna make another one here. Multiply more towards that blue. Desaturated blue. See what that does. Oh, cool. This is a bit better. Dan Santos will be like, "You're not understanding what I meant. Those weren't. I was just doing a demonstration. I didn't mean that you had to use it that way." I'm sure a lot of that's just misunderstanding from video stuff. Especially when you're an instructor, that's your full course and cameo on a show and cover as much ground as possible. I can do the same thing. I'm gonna add a layer there. The layer I added was just a mask layer, I mean. And bring that back a little bit. Go back in there. All right, so I like the look of that. Let's see if we can get, you know what? I'm just gonna do on this layer that I'm not really liking. I'm gonna do hue saturation thing here and just see what I can do. That more tones that I want it. Maybe into those cooler tones. Pump the saturation. I think if I pump the saturation and then dumb down the luminosity, yeah. Okay. Then I'm just gonna make sure that my selection tool is set to grab it from that layer. Now it looks like I'll still have to go over a little bit and just kind of get a little bit more saturated in the highlights there. Adding another one here to get that looking yellow more towards green here. We'll see. Multiply layer. Nope. Probably just go straight up. Kind of orangey. And that. Okay. Brush that down. Once I have more color down here too, I can always play with that layer, that original kind of gray layer, and play around with the color temperature of that and color of that. Helps or hinders everything here. I think it might just be a little dull. If I go in here, go back to my tonal correction layer, do a hue saturation change on it, push it more saturated. Cool with it. But I'm just gonna keep it where it's at for now. Saving, which I should probably do. Right. Tones here. Pretty much all of this is color. Go down here. Filling. Like a bigger brush. It's maybe that's why he uses softer brush. for the face. Gonna be in the same tones. Where I can see how terrible some of my under drawing is. This can get there and to the edge. Better than that. So I kind of get the perfect size for doing that. I kind of like what I was getting in my first color tests. Better, but keep going here. I don't think I have that one anymore. I deleted it. Oh, I'll just keep on going with this. I'm just gonna look at it anyways, just to reference kind of what I had. Oh. Tired. Let's put a pinch in it. Just because you got brush to push pretty hard. Could have used a harder brush, I guess. Stubborn following what Dan seemed to be doing in the demonstration video. Probably on those handles, I'll go in back in with that blue tone that I had. Careful around there. And all the way up into there. Now, grab a little bit of that blue again that I was using. Some of the parts here. Just maybe where it's deeper. Shadows. Just don't want it to look too grapish though. So, give it a little bit more chin in. I mean, we could just on layer is this the right layer, right? Fill one there. The mask. There's some spots where bring out some of these details and kind of add just a little bit more detail there too. Right. Okay. Now let's do kind of skin tone. Crust. Even though his skin is kind of not that skin tone like with probably just add a little bit, kind of the highlights there. Let's do a reflection of the guy there again. I thought that would tone a little bit more than that. Well, have to do a hue saturation on that one. Bump up the saturation, just get better. Or I more yellow. I want tone. See, do and I don't. Okay, let's see what we. And I just want to fill it. Or Oh, more warmth to the skin, even though it's kind of a cool tone we did for the skin. Now the horns are pretty brown. So, all similar. Oh, that's on. Multiply here. And I'll have to do a edit on two. I might go a little bit comic booky and make the hair more of a blue. More like in here. Let's just grab that blue that's in there. And let that to the hair. No, hair rarely looks quite so blue. Just something else that was gonna go blue. Oh, handles for the swords here. Really dark though. Eraser there and just tighten them. Okay. So back to the horns. Saturation correction. Bring the saturation up. Luminosity down. Down. Those redder tone. Gonna grab. Click on that again. Grab that tone. Oops. Come on. Grab the tone that's in there. Am I on the wrong layer? Nope. What happened? Is this the right layer? Yes. Layer. I'm on a rate. That's okay. Okay. Control click that again. Brush. Also do an inverse selection there, or invert the selection. Oops. Not the layer. Invert the selected area. Delete. I was just going to make sure that everything is kind of in where it should be. Some of it isn't. That up with that. Okie dokie. To this layer here. This makes colored. All right. I'm just gonna select layer here. You want to just have whatever color that was in there here. Up. those there. White. Alright, so this one I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to click it. I'm going to invert. Selected area. Apply in. I think he was also using not only multiply, but other kind of ones as well. Wanna. Oh, why am I not drawing on anything? Oh, why? Don't want that to be on that layer. Another layer with a multiply. Something kind of warm. To right. A little too bright. But what I'm going to do is kind of here layer multiply. Too late. See where that is at. Ugh. This stupid ugly aliasing lines around everything are driving me nuts. That skin tone. This one. That is a kind of got a nice little glow to it. I'm gonna take this layer and try do an overlay to that one as well. Doesn't really match then, does it? Well, let's see what else we can do. Let's go play around with the hue of that too. Some of that. But it doesn't really match with the kind of tone I have of the light hitting him. Dark. Wacky. Like that. Invert, and we will get rid of those kind of real browny parts up. I kind of like that, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna bring some of that color into him. This is more how I probably would have painted those in the colors that I wanted to do them. I knew that I wanted to do them in the final, and then I would have kind of gone in there and did my background, and then would have kind of added these bits of highlights to everything, a little bit of the color of light source was there. It's working. Doing it really far out, so it might look kind of sloppy once I zoom in, but we'll not. Just want some of that in any of the highlights there, and especially along areas we want that warm light to come through. Really looks nice on the horns. We'll do some more on the, do some of it into the board here too. Don't wanna go heavy with it though. Good. Much like all of the figures I draw, I end up backlighting them quite a bit. An aesthetic I just like, I guess. Doing that up in color, size, or that into tones into everywhere there. A little bit better. Now this kind of purpley tone, I want to bring kind of, well, go pick that blue there here. I want to bring that into now, see, that looks pretty good, but once you start zooming in here, it's muddy to me. That is where this technique way of coloring just loses me every time. I mean, it could just be my fault on how I draw. I don't know. I'm gonna take a layer here, and when I don't want, I want to just be straight up paint. Grab the highlight color here. Not selecting. Select from all layers. I to here. Edge. Darker color here for shadows. In that. Keep that dark in there. Come out there. Yeah, I mean, if you don't mind going back in and kind of cleaning up stuff and putting back in your kind of putting in kind of your final highlights and stuff, which is a step I would be doing anyways. So, and that way, I guess you kind of do get to speed up things a little bit in that regard, but it's up to you if I guess if that's preferred method. There was some skin tones I was getting in my previous attempt at just doing the color that I was really liking though. So there is definitely some valid reasons to do it, and like the tonal variation in the skin I was getting some really nice tonal variation, which is something that's always kind of something you gotta be conscious of when you're putting it in. While you're working, but if you're kind of working this way, you can be a little bit less. It kind of can come out organically. Kind of figure it out. Because it does give you a really nice kind of base stuff. Begin. There's some of this that's just problems because I cut it out too. That isn't a problem with the technique or anything. There's probably nothing really with the technique. It's just getting you. Some things just make more sense to people. That's why not everybody paints the same, not everybody draws the same. It's kind of nice. But it is nice to try to figure it out. Especially when you're like me, who's tried it a couple times and still just don't really get it. Now, the way he did it was a little bit different than a lot of people. He was talking more like as a traditional painter, which definitely helped me kind of figure out why he was doing certain things. And he would relate it to terms like glazing and stuff. Is helps a guy like me understand more of where we're trying to go with it. It'll help me get it to hopefully work a little bit better for me, which it did. Probably the best attempt I've had at this way. Too much. One of these problems are painting. It's thought I cleaned up that line, ended painting a little better than that. Just stuff like that. Yeah. That's kind of cool. This is just kind of my layer to come in and clean up and fix stuff that I don't like and move stuff over. The fact that I put this up to layer. This is where when I go, oh, now I get why some guys say that, you know, they prefer to work in one single layer. Have to go and they clean it up as they go, and they don't get some of these weird artifacts that you get when you're painting in layers. Look at these weird little cutout looking art. Showing little things that I gotta go and fix up. I wonder if I go in here and just try a few things on deleting some of this layer. Okay. Now. Kind of warmer. Turn. Oh, too much. And I start to back. There. Oh. Well, maybe I should make that select again. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna pretty much call it. I'm just gonna, well, keep on cleaning up the edge here. I just don't know if that's boring for you guys to watch. Usually I call it and then, oh, different. Often. Sometimes it works, sometimes. If I had it all as one layer, that would work better. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna export a single layer here. And making sure I'm still recording here. Okay. I'm just gonna open up that one and then I'm gonna do some color changes with probably the color balance tool. Can do the same thing in here, but I also want to just be able to clean up these edges here without like having to paint over and over and over. I'm just going to use probably the blender to soften up some of those edges in there, and it'll be a lot easier if it's all in one layer. but I don't want to kind of destroy what's here. So I'm going to open up that layer just in case there is an issue or I want to use that selection layer. Usually in Photoshop, I would do copy. You can do like a flattened copy, where it just takes all the layers, flattens them, copies that, and then you can paste it. You don't have that in here, as far as I know. So what I do is I'll save that, and then I will open up the file that I just made and select it all, copy it, don't save changes, and then I'll just add that file here. So it's just, you got to go through a little bit more steps than you do in the Photoshop to do the same kind of thing. But there are little quirks. There might be ways of fixing stuff like that, like I said, but I just don't know. Oh. Okay, those are a little bit soft and out of focus. Just because all of this is probably going to make softer, more out of focus as well. So E is what's in focus. Soften up all. Oop. The problem with, gotta be careful with the blenders because just definitely go too strong there. You don't want it to look unpainterly either. If that makes any sense. I don't like that double line there. I'm gonna take there. Okay, something like that. That. And I'm just gonna go there, select a correction layer. I'm gonna do color balance first. Shadows. I'm gonna see what I like. I'm gonna push that in the green, maybe. Go give them warmer in the lights. Go yellow. Warm it up a bit more. Okay, so you can see we went from that, which is kind of dull, that which is nice and bright. I'm just probably gonna assign it at this point and call it finito. And oh, wait for that another layer here. Come on. You know what? I'm just gonna try one more thing. Signature's a little big. And push it. Still so much empty space up here. I could have made him bigger. Or I could just change the shape of everything here, but I don't think I want to exactly. I'm gonna keep that as is, I guess. The one thing I think I want to try is go into the curves. Try new correction layer. Try tone curve. I want to see if I take some of the red out of the more out. This is usual. This is how I used to always adjust my coloration. But over the years, I've changed it because, or in this program at least, I found color balance. I find I get a way kind of subtler approach than the curves adjustment. The curves adjustment seems really strong in the back. Okay. I wonder, can you do that as like a can? Interesting. What about darken? What does color do? What does color do? To 100. Yeah, I like that. I think that's it for him. Only thing I could think of would be changes that I don't really want to do now. Still part of me that wants to incorporate this. Now. Maybe that's not a partner. Don't want to. I had to delete. Oh, darn. Again. There. I gotta move. Alright. Press delete. Ooh. Come on. Green. select. If I'm over this. Okay, so first I need to figure some stuff out here. Back that up. Why the face? Close this folder. Oh, I don't know why there was a face cut out there. Basically, what selection? But I can move that selection over. How am I gonna do this? So maybe I move him over. On. I want this folder to be here. Are you kidding me? I matched that up perfect. Okay, cool. So now what I want to do is to control click. I want flare. Bottom. Delete that. Oh, that's not right either. Oh man. Yes. Yeah. Can just have kind of like and I do a levels adjustment to just that layer. Here's my level correction. Oh, but I'm that correction, level correction. That guy. Just dark. Okay, and now I can probably do a hue saturation him. Okay. Because he's not a color. Go. Let's go cooler. Bam. Blah. Multiply. Put that. Now I can do hue saturation Saturation adjustment on star. Maybe. Bring him back. Keep him. Think. Bunch different. My layer. Different. Yeah, man. Dark. Never see any preview in. Or gosh, I'm not sure why. Okay, anyways, what I'm gonna do in here is gonna erase some of it. Oh. Come on, I wish I had that. Index. Not the best way. Now, it is destructive. That's kind of everything. That's a bit. That a little bit better. Great. So we ended up using that demon drawing anyways, which is kind of cool. I think it adds a little bit to it here. Or, you know what? I'll get complete. Do like that. Right. So that is it. I think we're done. Just do that, and I'll zoom in, and we do it like a little bit of a pan here, up and down it, so kind of all of it, and it's blurry. I keep thinking of more stuff I want to do. Yeah, I think I am going to do one more thing. I am going to little clean or dust it. Droplets are going to particles, bone scraping particles. Like those will probably be more. Up the particle size quite a bit there. Just want different. And you get the bigger. Up. And what I'm going to do is click that to a dodge layer. Do a glow add layer. Add layer. Parts. Just add another layer there. Mask layer. Tonal variation. Them there. One last thing. So I'm gonna. Oh, I'm on the. I don't want out. Darn it. Okay. I really am calling it. That's it, I think. Eyes are intense, but they're cool. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed that. And sorry for me being kind of all over the place with it. But I think the final result is something really cool, and I hope you guys like it, and I'm pretty happy with it. So thank you for watching, and catch you next time, and keep creative.